Have you ever really stopped to wonder where a feeling comes from? I don't mean what triggers it, like seeing a friend or stubbing your toe. I mean what makes the feeling of joy or pain itself even possible. Well, today we're going to dig into a pretty profound idea, a counterintuitive one, that might just flip everything you thought you knew about why anything matters to us at all.
Now, seriously think about it for a second. The warmth of the sun on your skin, that amazing taste of your favorite food, or even the sting of a painful memory. Our whole lives are spent navigating this constant stream of good and bad feelings. But what is that quality of goodness or badness? Where does it actually live? The common sense answer, the one we all kind of live by, seems super obvious, right? We pull our hand away from a hot stove because the pain feels bad. We seek out our friends because being with them feels good. The story goes, the feeling comes first, and that feeling is what makes something valuable or not. Simple. Right, so this common sense view, it's really the main story we tell ourselves about consciousness. It's a story that puts our own inner experience, our feelings, right at the center of the universe of meaning.
And this isn't just some folk psychology. A lot of modern science is built on this very same idea, that our phenomenal experience, that raw, subjective, what it's likeness of a feeling, that's the starting point. It's the cause. It's the engine that drives us to do things. But what if we've had the cause and effect completely backwards this whole time?
Okay, get ready for a pretty big shift in perspective. The theory of value saturation says that we've been looking at how feeling and value are connected through the completely wrong end of the telescope.
Okay, so here it is. This is the core idea. Things do not matter because we feel them because they already matter. Just let that sink in for a second. This one sentence flips the entire script. It suggests that value isn't something our minds just invent. It's something that's already out there, in the very fabric of existence, and our feelings are just us finally noticing it.
And you know what's wild? To see this in action, you don't need to look at a complicated human brain. Just look at a single bacterium. It swims towards a bit of sugar. Does it feel happy when it finds it? No way. It's just a tiny little machine. But does that glucose matter to it? Oh, absolutely. It's the difference between persisting, staying organized and alive, and dissolving back into the chemical soup. The stakes are real, they're physical, long before anything like a feeling ever enters the picture.
So this begs a huge question, right? How can something matter at the level of pure physics without a mind there to, care about it? Well, the answer, believe it or not, comes from one of the most fundamental laws of the entire universe.
And that law is entropy. You've probably heard of it. It's the universal, unstoppable tendency for everything to go from order to disorder, from a neat sandcastle to a pile of sand. And what is life then? Life is the ultimate rebel. Life is any system that's in a constant, active fight against entropy, burning energy just to hold itself together and not fall apart.
I love this analogy. Think of any living thing as a tightrope walker. Staying on that rope, maintaining that delicate, organized balance, that is physically good for its continued existence. Falling off into the chaotic mess below is physically bad. That simple physical distinction, staying in the game versus game over, that's what we can call proto-value. It's value at its most basic level, written right into the laws of thermodynamics.
Okay, so how do we get from that simple bacterium on a tightrope to, us? This basic physical value doesn't just stay simple. It gets built upon, layer after complex layer, saturating life long before consciousness ever shows up.
Now this is basically the roadmap. At the very bottom, you've got reaction. That's our little bacterium friend, just a chemical system fighting to persist. Then life evolves temporogenesis, the ability to model the future, to anticipate where food might be. Suddenly, you have anticipatory value. Then you get symbiogenesis, where organisms team up, like cells in your body, creating these shared fields of value. It's only after all of that architecture is in place that you get to the top. Cognogenesis, where a system can refer to itself and boom, you finally have what we call a feeling.
Here's another awesome way to think about it. Imagine value is like water being poured into a glass. It starts filling up from the very bottom, at that physical, thermodynamic level. It keeps rising through all the layers of biology, prediction, and cooperation. Our conscious feeling, that's just the moment the water finally reaches the brim of the glass, the moment we become aware of all that value that was already saturating the system from the bottom up.
So if the value is already there, baked into our very physics and biology, then what's the point of feeling pleasure or pain? If the feeling isn't creating the value, what on earth is it doing?
Well, the answer is that feelings are a readout.
They're like the dashboard in your car. That blinking low fuel light doesn't create the empty gas tank, right? Of course not. It's just a very loud, very efficient, impossible to ignore signal that's reporting on a critical fact about the system. It's the same with us. The feeling of pain doesn't invent the tissue damage. It's just a powerful, unavoidable report on a state of being that is already physically bad for you.
So, to put it another way, a feeling is basically your brain's executive summary of where you are on that tightrope of life. Pleasure is the feeling of being stable, secure, and moving forward. Suffering is the feeling of slipping, of being close to that edge. It's the first-person subjective experience of your own viability.
Now, this isn't just some abstract philosophical game. Flipping this arrow from feeling creates value to feeling reports on value has massive implications for how we think about everything from artificial intelligence to ethics and meaning itself.
And this slide lays it out perfectly. Look at AI on the right. It can follow an algorithm. You can program it to say, ouch, if it gets damaged. But look at us on the left. Our feelings are tied to real thermodynamic stakes, that constant fight to persist. And AI doesn't have any actual skin in the game. It's not fighting entropy. So its feeling is just an imitation, while ours is grounded in the bedrock of physical reality.
The takeaway for ethics is just as huge. If value isn't just my personal preference, but something real that exists in any system fighting to stay organized, then morality changes. It's not about inventing a set of rules from thin air. It becomes more about discovering and recognizing the value that is already inherent in other living systems, systems that are walking that very same tightrope right alongside us.
So, what does this all boil down to? It means that every living thing is a story about value, a constant drama between persistence and decay written in the language of physics. And our consciousness? It's simply that script finally reading itself aloud. It's the universe of things that matter finally waking up and through us becoming aware of its own story.
And that leaves us with one last thought to take away. If every feeling you have, whether it's good or bad, is just your system's way of telling you what already matters for your survival and your flourishing, just take a moment. What value is your system telling you about in your life right at this very second?